Are your students sleeping in class? Let's face it, teenagers are avid users of technology more than any other age group. In more recent years, there has been an influx of smartphone use. Today's lab will focus on an article which discusses whether acquiring a smartphone has an effect on adolescent sleep duration. The study was conducted by 591 adolescents in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, who completed questionnaires in 2012 and then again 2 years later. They were divided into owners, new owners, and non-owners of smartphones, and compared on sleep duration, sleep problems, and socio-demographic variables. After the 2-year period, researchers did find a connection between smartphone use and sleep duration. In all scenarios, school days, weekends, and vacations, adolescents who owned or were new owners of smartphones slept less than non-owners. For example, in 2012, smartphone owners slept on average 7.81 hours and non-owners 8.61 hours. And 2 years later, in 2014, owners slept 7.28 hours on average versus non-owners 8 hours in total. According to the National Sleep Foundation, the appropriate sleep duration for adolescents aged 14 to 17 years old should be between 8 and 10 hours. Below this range, lack of sleep may affect health and well-being. It looks like even those who are non-owners are bordering the recommended sleep duration. This article presents some interesting findings for teens and their families. They may want to consider how owning a smartphone affects their physical health. That being said, the results may be affected by several other factors. Although this research was helpful in demonstrating the consequences of smartphone use, the sample size was small and represented adolescents in one part of Switzerland. Perhaps these results would translate to other parts of the world. However, this is not for certain. Students who accepted being a part of the study were more likely to be a part of the higher school track. There are 3 in Switzerland. They're more likely to be female and have good emotional well-being. Additionally, the study did not address when smartphones were used, for example, before bed or in bed, nor the frequency of use. When thinking about potential moderators, we can discuss how some adolescents may have parents with stricter rules, including earlier bedtime. Some families may be more aware of the importance of good sleeping habits. Stress may impact sleep duration, as well as physical living situations. Where they sleep, for example, do they share a bedroom? Is it dark and quiet? Mediators could include an increase in mental, emotional, physiological stimulation through phone use or exposure to the bright light from screens, which may suppress melatonin and consequently delay the circadian rhythm. There is clearly a connection between the use of these smartphones and adolescent sleep duration, which in turn can affect physical health. It would be interesting to see how other factors such as family values, a more varied population, both rural and urban living, and varying school achievement has on such a study. These studies would be beneficial in Canada as we are such a diverse country that I imagine results would vary from region to region. Regardless, smartphone ownership should be a careful consideration for families and done with reflection about individual situations.
Created using Powtoon.